Not a good podcast. Not a good podcast. This is not a good podcast.
Not a good podcast.
You're listening to Not a Good Podcast with PB and Johnny V, Episode 6, The 20-Year Bullet, Aliens, and the Disappearance of Andrew Dawson. This episode may not be suitable for younger listeners due to scarier topics.
Boo! What are we going to say?
Boo!
Oh, man. My son really wants to probably listen to this one.
Yeah.
He's going to be all over this. So, buddy, don't listen to this one. We're back.
Yeah, baby.
Number 6. People just didn't believe that we make it past 2.
Just keep going.
Yeah. We got.
Well, I got a news flash for you, haters. We're doing this. We're going to do 100
We're going to go to
episodes.
10.
No, we're doing 100.
We're going to go to 10.
And then when we go to 10, we're going to go to 20 and then 50. I'm telling you.
I've got an update on Gary Drayton.
No way.
He didn't reply.
Stop.
It's been a week.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
All
I've
right.
been blocked.
Listen, I'm going to start out with a story, okay? And this story is called The Bullet That Waited 20 Years to Kill Its Target. You guys want to hear it? Okay, it's about the life story of Henry Ziegland, okay? Henry Ziegland. So anyways, Henry Ziegland was this man, right? He was living in Honey Grove, Texas. And in the year 1883, he dumped his girlfriend turned fiance, Macy Tickner, right? Macy loved him a lot and couldn't stand the idea of living without him. Shocked by Henry's unfaithfulness, she became depressed and ended her life. And this didn't change Henry's life, who continued to live as a farmer and a businessman. Macy's brother was furious and decided to avenge his sister's death. So he prepared a plan to eliminate Henry, and he went to his farm with a pistol. Okay, listen to this. This gets crazy. The timing and the place were fixed. That day, Henry went to the woods to cut trees. Macy's brother ambushed him and opened fire. The bullet deflected off Henry's skull and then stuck inside of a tree. Macy's brother looked at Henry's unconscious body and assumed that he was dead, but fate had other plans for his sister's killer. After killing the one responsible for his sister's death, Macy's brother turned the gun on himself and committed suicide since he had no reason to live. His sister was dead. He successfully avenged her death. But Henry wasn't dead. The bullet had just grazed him. So after some time, he got up, he went to see a doctor, and he continued living a normal life after that. He had a family, a wife, and a child. Here we go. This is where we get deep. 20 years went by since that incident, and Henry was now an old man. This is a true story. But it came back to haunt him again. Son of a
Take
gun.
your pills. Take
Right? He starts
listen,
talking about the old man.
All right. Listen. Bring it back.
your pills.
Bring it back.
You got 30 minutes to get home to take your pills.
One day, Henry was cutting firewood and inside the forest with his son, and there was one tree that he couldn't cut with an axe. So he decided to apply dynamite and put it inside the trunk, which was the norm of the time. Henry lodged a bunch of dynamite inside the tree trunk to blow it. He told his son to stay away. The dynamite was ignited, and Henry and his son moved 50 feet away. The tree exploded. What happened next sounds like a thriller film, but it's not. A bullet fired by Macy's brother that had been resting all this time in the same tree trunk came out of the tree and hit Henry in the head temple with full force, and it was instant death for Henry this time, completing the revenge story of Macy's brother. Isn't that wild?
So is that justice?
I am Groot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Whoa.
What year was that? Was it 1800s?
It's like the 1800s.
Sounds like a fable.
It's real.
I don't think it happened.
A tree shot me.
I think our great grandparents lived with dinosaurs, and they just didn't tell us about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, this was before photos, film. And
That
they
makes
were
sense.
dragons.
I think you got a point with the dragons, though. I think dragons are real.
Yeah. Oh no,
Absolutely.
they are. They're in every civilization, every storyteller, every documentation.
Yeah.
You want to go into it? I got
Yeah.
some crazy thoughts about dinosaurs.
Yeah, let's
me
go
hear it.
for it.
Oh man, I forgot about my other celebrity encounter. Speaking of
that
dinosaurs.
was like a week ago.
That was like a year ago.
Wow.
Anyway, real quick, my sister was being born. She was born. I was walking in the hospital and no, cut that. Keep going. All right. I'm on.
This is like we're on a roll.
Right.
Hey, I want a tangent.
Attention.
I want a tangent here.
All right. Cut all that. So yeah, I've got some crazy thoughts about dinosaurs. You want the story?
Yeah, we need it now.
All right. So it was 1993. Jurassic Park had just come out in theaters.
Great movie.
Fantastic movie. My mother and father, I guess, thought it was cool to take a 5-year-old to see that movie.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to see it multiple times because I loved it so much. Anyway, that was the year my sister was born. We're in the Cartersville, Georgia hospital. She had just been born. I'm walking the halls with my mom at some point, and the guy that plays Newman in Seinfeld, Wayne Knight, was in that hospital.
No way.
I had just seen this guy get snot spit in his
Yep.
face,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then
Something happened.
got eaten.
We don't know if he actually got eaten. It kind of like
Yep.
went up
That's
the waterfall.
True. That's true.
The scene went up to the waterfall.
Yeah.
That's true.
in the Jeep.
In the
But
Jeep.
yeah, saw him. He said hi, and I guess I just like stood there frozen.
If I were you, I'd have been like, Newman.
Well, I didn't know Seinfeld at the time, but I
I've
guess
seen
the
I've
dude's
seen
mom was
ads
there.
for that Gillette can of
Oh,
shaving
yeah.
cream.
Yep.
Barbasol.
Yeah, and I've seen it like where they have like vials in it. It looks so cool. I want one, but it's in the mail actually.
Yeah.
It's coming.
This is your Prime Day deal.
It's my Prime Day deal.
Well, speaking of dinosaurs, I don't think they died out.
I think the megalodon's around still.
I think the big ones were killed off either by the flood or, they called them dragons before they called them dinosaurs. So they
dragons.
were hunted.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, you look at these massive gators that are down here,
Well, I will tell you,
they're still around.
growing up in North Carolina, man, when I was a teenager, I was in the river one time, and I kid you not, before Google was like a thing, I was swimming, and I had something that was as big as my arm swim between my legs.
As big as your arm.
Freaked as long as my arm.
You mean like a bass?
No. It looked like a lizard. It was a lizard. It was a lizard. It was a lizard.
It could have
And
been.
I had no idea. And I kept trying to tell everybody. When I got home, I tried to tell my parents.
Salamander.
I said, y'all have no idea. I'm telling you, there's dinosaurs. They are real and they're alive. And so years
believe it.
later,
I believe it.
Eel.
listen, years later, when Google was like a thing, I don't know how I found it, but it's called a river dog. Look it up real quick. They're called river
dog?
dogs. Look it up.
Okay, hold on.
River dogs. I had no idea, man. But this thing is like a salamander, but as big as a puppy. Freaked me out. Have you seen him?
It's a salamander.
No, but look how big it is, though.
It's the size of.
No. The one that swam between my legs was at least 16, 18 inches. I could pick it up with two hands.
This is not a dinosaur, but we.
Let me see a picture of it. That's like a newt.
It's a newt.
No, man, that's not. Man, that's huge. Are you nuts?
Well, okay, that's probably a forearm.
That's still big for a dang lizard, man.
But you're saying the sky is falling for a newt. All right.
Freak me out.
Okay, so So I saw a video of this this archaeologist, and he shows cave paintings from all over the world. And said the question was, were dinosaurs around when humans were around? And yes, because they had to do all these cave paintings, and they were the I don't know dinosaur names, but the ones with like all the points on the back to the long neck,
Stegosaurus,
Triceratops, the T-Rex,
The plated animals.
They're all in these cave paintings. So is it pre-flood, post-flood? I definitely was pre-flood.
I think seriously, Noah took
some big ones with
dinosaur.
him.
He could have taken two eggs.
I think there might be two theories. I think that the Nephilim could have messed with DNA in order to create
They were the dinosaurs.
dinosaurs. I really do.
Dino DNA.
Or they just
Doing Jurassic
Yeah,
Park.
that's Jurassic Park.
there you go, subliminal messaging.
There it
dude.
is.
Yeah.
Or Noah took two on the ark. They made it off, but they just didn't survive.
Kept
Oh,
the good
man.
ones.
I
I
would've
mean, because
taken
I think, these dinosaurs could have been DNA spliced by the fallen angels.
Why not?
Before the flood.
If you look,
They were doing it
just
to humans.
Vicious.
Yeah, they're doing it
Vicious.
to humans. Why weren't they doing it to? And they could have been controlled by
Have you ever read the book of
those
Enoch?
entities. No,
I
I actually
want to.
haven't. I want to.
Oh, I've read it.
Yeah, I want
Is
to.
it between Habakkuk and
It's the
Obadiah?
Get out of here.
it's the what is it? The extra. It's the proverbial books of wisdom or something.
No, it's just an extra book.
Yeah,
it wasn't,
extra biblical.
It wasn't
Outside of the
included.
canon.
It wasn't included. But I've read it before, and I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. So it's about all these different types of fallen angels, right? Like Uriel and all these angels. But anyway, so these fallen angels supposedly taught men different things, right? Like
Metallurgy.
yeah, how to read and worship the stars and the moon and all that stuff. How to use roots and mix roots and create potions and smoke and basically like
Pharmakia.
how to get high
Pharmakia,
and
sure.
pharmakia. Yep, I'm telling you, like all this stuff. I mean, you're talking about spiritual beings, and I've heard this before, and I truly believe it, being a Christian, that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, right? I think that we are. I think the spiritual realm. I don't think I know. The spiritual realm has been here a lot longer than the physical realm, and it will continue to exist long after the physical realm exists. And so we, as humans, are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and we are going to have a spiritual experience for all of eternity. So we are literally in the scope of eternity. We are literally like a grain, like we are experiencing what a grain of sand is right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to that, I think that
And the spirit world's around us, and we
Yes.
just don't have eyes to see it.
no, we don't have eyes to see it, man. And it's crazy though how real it is. I mean, biblically,
So my theory is that UFOs, UAPs are craft of fallen angels, and I don't think there's such thing as aliens from other dimension, other worlds. I think it's from another dimension,
Right.
And
I
it's
do
the
too.
spirit
The
dimension,
spiritual. Yeah.
and there could be portals around the globe,
And
that
some
they could
people
come
think,
in
like-
and out of.
Skinwalker.
That's what I
Ranch.
say.
Skinwalker
Like
Ranch.
Stargates, man. You know, like if you read about, when Jacob's ladder, right?
Yeah.
Like it was, he's on top of Mount
Yeah.
Hermon, right? And I mean, you see angels coming up and down. I think that's a Stargate. But I also think as well the, they say, well, how did giants survive after the flood? How did these angels survive after the flood? I think they just left. They had the capabilities to just leave Earth while it happened. I mean, the rest of these beings that they help create, they can't create beings, but what I'm saying is that they spliced together the genetics and created these offspring who are, demonic, right? Those died. And I think that these fallen angels left. And so now you are dealing with, and not all the angels that fell, and this is in the book of Enoch as well, and you can read this
are released.
You can read this in the Bible, right? Like not all of them are in hell. Not all of them are chained up.
Well, there's entities. Entities. There's principalities and powers,
right?
And principalities. It's very much like the military. They have regions. They have hierarchy.
Sure.
So it's a world that you don't think about until you start, reading about it.
Yep.
But it's heavy stuff, and this is heavy stuff for Not a Good Podcast.
Hey, this is a pretty good podcast.
It's pretty
Not
good.
a good podcast.
I always heard like this saying, and I think it was really good. I don't know if it was like C.S. Lewis or one of those guys that said it, but it said one of the greatest things that the devil ever did was convince the world that he wasn't real.
Yeah.
And I think he totally hit the nail on the head, because when people think about this stuff, man, they're like, oh yeah, it's just movies and all this stuff. But we forget, up until TV and movies, this was it, man.
Well, the thing is, we're being conditioned. New movies, new TV shows, the new Marvel one with the Skrulls.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
shapeshifters.
Yeah, the shapeshifters, and it's like millions of people have been living amongst us. So so they're all like, I think it's this dripping in, like all the portals, and Avengers, like things coming through the sky, and with all the UFOs being released, like during COVID, like the videos during COVID, during the height of everyone was distracted, no one bat an eye about these things.
I mean, growing up, did you ever see as many UFO encounters?
No, and
on the news as you're seeing now.
It was on Fox News Monday. Yeah. Read the article.
Yeah, the headline is Congressman has grim take after access to UFO footage. Quote, we can't handle it. And it basically talks about, I think he's a representative. He's a Tennessee lawmaker. He's on some sort of task force or something for UAPs and UFOs. And he's basically seen the technology.
Yeah.
But he's saying the American public can't handle it.
Now, is it Chuck Schumer in New York?
That's
so.
him.
He is. He's introduced a bill to unclassify all these documents about UAPs, and it's bipartisan release, because if they're trying to get it out to protect the air airspace over the U.S.
But let me ask you this: if they were to get it out and prove that it's real, what do you think the American, how do you think the American public, not even the American public, the world, is going to react if all of our governments got together and said,
this is real?
This is real. Because remember, the first episode I started talking about, I said there's a woman with the United Nations who's actually the intergalactic, like
spokesperson priest or something.
She's the spokesperson.
I think,
so I mean, they know, they prepare.
I think
it's the rapture.
Yeah, I think it's for the rapture. I think it's a narrative that it's getting closer and closer for Christians to be raptured, and then it's going to be post story.
Totally.
Because
where'd all the Christians go?
Yeah, they
took them for conditioning.
Yeah, they're really planning something. You'll see something in Indiana Jones. You'll see something. It even talks about AI in Mission Impossible. So like they're conditioning us for something, and it's a slow release, a little bit at a time that we're getting used to it.
We are literally living in the modern day Roman era, right? The Roman Empire, because there was this guy, man, I wish I could remember his name. He's on YouTube, but it's basically, if you look at what our government and our society is doing, they create things to take our attention span off of what is actually going on. So back in those days, what did the Roman government do? They created the Colosseum, right? Like football fields, baseball fields, right? Where they were created the Olympic Games.
Yep.
Why? Because they didn't want them to really do research into, well, where's our money really going? It's going to fund another, crusade or war, not crusade, but war. You know what I mean? Like
Modern day crusade.
It's crazy, man. And so if it's crazy to me that the American public is just so dumb, I guess you could say. They're just so dumb. I mean, looking at like the whole transgender thing being pushed like absolute crazy, the gay pride stuff being pushed like crazy. I mean, we have demonic people that are literally working in our schools, and we're allowing it, and the Christians are the bad people. The Christians are the intolerant people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wonder what like Seth Dillon would have to say about this topic.
Would like to have you on the show, Seth.
Seth, come on.
We see you eating sometimes. We know.
Come on up.
Just say hey to us.
We got an extra mic
Right next to the survival food.
right next to. I mean, his garage probably has a lot of survival food
Yep.
too. Their sponsor, Patriot Supply.
What you got, Jay?
What's that?
What's on your mind?
Oh man, I'm just, it's a deep episode, and I can't get over the fact that Noah could have had 2 velociraptors on the ark with him, and I'm just like, man.
I don't. Yeah.
If you were Noah, what 2 dinosaurs would you take on the ark with?
Well, you'd have to take 2 of each.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, so
wait a
so
minute.
God said take 2 of each of every kind
Every kind.
in the garden.
Do you think maybe the animals he took were, I mean, obviously they would have to be
Here's something.
natural animals that were not hybrids.
That's true.
And so maybe
That's
all
true.
these animals we have now are just extensions of hybrids and stuff.
You mentioned
Cats aren't real.
They
hate
don't
cats.
they don't
I
they
hate
don't
cats.
care about us. I'm allergic to them.
Me too.
Look at those demon eyes. That's a hybrid.
You mentioned
Yeah.
something, PB, about the garden.
Yeah.
It's crazy that the garden wasn't destroyed until after the flood. And so all that time while Noah was on the earth preparing the ark, if you think about it,
He was
there was
close
an
to the garden.
angel. There was an angel with fiery swords protecting the entrance of that garden of Eden.
Point. Yeah.
So these people had
It's probably underwater now.
so there's 2 theories I feel like about where it's at.
Atlantis.
No.
I've heard about that.
Not Atlantis, about the garden. So the garden is either in Africa
Or Okeechobee.
or
Israel?
the Arctic Circle.
Oh yeah.
And I know it sounds crazy,
So I've heard this.
but the argument for the Arctic Circle makes sense.
Well, there was
the pole shift.
the person the discoverer that like traveled it,
Yeah.
the Arctic Circle on by plane,
Yep.
went over mountain caps, and then it was all green and lush.
Yes. Admiral Byrd.
Yes.
Admiral Byrd.
Tell me what you know about him.
So Admiral Byrd led tons of expeditions in Antarctica and the South Pole, and I'm pretty sure it was Admiral Byrd who ended up, he was in an airplane, like PB was saying, and when they flew over it, they noticed a big hole that was big enough to fly down into, and they flew down into it, and it was basically like another world down in there. I mean, it was lush green vegetation. There was animals. I mean,
So
everything.
it's like a hollow earth kind of theory?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. But I don't know. But he made a lot of discoveries in not Antarctica. Yeah, South Pole, the South Pole as well. Funny thing, I had read a theory the other day about how did these giants or Nephilim and all this stuff, how did they survive the flood? And it was a pretty good argument. It said there were so many caves and crevasses.
Crevasses?
Crevasses. So many caves, but like when the water came in, it trapped air under these caves. And so...
Oh, yeah. So during the flood.
And so, like, let's say you take a cup and if you're in a pool, right? You turn the cup upside down and you push it down in the water. I mean, there's air up in there. It's trapped up under there.
You told me that this week. That's the first time I ever thought of that.
And I'm like, well, when I heard it, I was like, whoa.
That's a reason why there was Nephilim after the flood.
Right. I was like, man, that's a pretty good theory.
And that's the reason that a lot of theologians believe God wanted the Israelites to wipe out all the cities and in the Promised Land.
Yeah.
In the Promised Land, they were like
all the Amorites and
they said the giants were ants, and they were scared.
Yeah, they were ants in the side. They look like grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers in the side of
right.
giants.
What's even crazier is like they were talking about the clusters of grapes when they came back to report to Moses. They were carrying clusters of grapes that
on their shoulders.
2 men had to carry because they were so big.
So I take the scriptures very literal about stuff like that.
100%.
So I think why God wanted them to be annihilated was because they're mixing DNA. They were still doing the same thing before, like they were before the flood.
Yep.
So that's a good theory of like the caves, the trapped air pockets. Yeah.
Have you guys heard about the giant of Kandahar?
Oh yeah, man.
Do you know L.A. Marzulli interviewed that dude?
Yeah, I actually asked L.A. Marzulli.
Yeah.
I asked him about that.
Yeah.
And we talked about it because I have red hair. And he mentioned that I have a little bit of Nephilim in me because of my red hair. What
are you
that?
watching?
I'm trying to preview.
This is not a good podcast, but it's not a boring podcast.
No, I don't think anyone else heard it. I think it just went through our headsets. I'm sorry about that.
Anyways, we were talking about L.A. Marzulli. I had a question for L.A. when he was here.
Oh, because you're the redhead.
Well, not only that, but I've always. Anyways, we'll get back to Kandahar Giant here in a second. But I'm interested in Bob Lazar, and if you've never looked up Bob Lazar, I asked him if he was real, man, and he sort of gave me a little bit of an executive summary about Bob Lazar, and it's true, man. I mean, that guy, he's for real. And he looked up dead serious. He's like, he's for real. I've met him twice. But anyways, going back to the Kandahar Giant, that's crazy.
Right?
They said the crazy thing was that they could smell the giant from like hundreds of yards away. They smelled like something filthy, like disgusting, like it had been dead for days.
Do you know the story? Just for any of our listeners that may not be.
So if I'm telling it correctly, and if you got it in front of you, you could correct me on it. But anyways, so there's a Ranger regiment, right, where a couple of their boys went out.
It was a platoon. This was like right at the beginning.
Yes, I think like 2002, 2001,
like
right
that.
at the beginning of the Afghanistan
Is it
war.
Marines?
No, Army Rangers. Yeah, Rangers. So they were in Afghanistan, their province of Kandahar, and anyways, their platoon went out and lost some of their guys. Right? They never
the whole platoon.
The whole platoon. Yeah, I think
gone.
it might have been the whole platoon. But anyways, so they tried getting in contact, couldn't do it, so they ended up sending out
the Green Berets.
Yep,
had to go get them.
Yep, ended up sending a team to go find them, and I guess, man, they were out there for a while.
Yeah, they were going all through the cliffs and the hills and the mountains, which I guess is nuts. Like the mountain systems over in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
but they started coming up to.
They saw
this hill. They started seeing all their uniform patches and stuff.
Yeah,
on the ground.
They saw it was like.
Did they kill it?
Yeah, they killed it. It came out.
Dude, you got a YouTube. I think it's L.A. Marzulli interviewing the guy that finally came out about it. But basically,
do you have any like info on it?
It's on YouTube.
YouTube.com.
No. I want you to tell me now. I don't got time for that.
We just told you.
Yeah,
that's the story. But anyway, so they end up killing this guy. He came out.
They come up
with a spear.
and they're seeing like all the they're seeing all the pieces of the uniforms, and they come up over a cliff, I believe, and then there's like an actual like cave.
Yeah,
and they can't see into it.
But they smell it. They
smell something.
The giant comes out.
A lance. Well, I believe in the story, a like lance just comes flying out.
Huge
takes
spear.
One of the Green Berets
That's right.
out, and he's gone.
Yep.
Giant comes running out, and they light him up.
But they ended up pulling a Chinook out.
A what?
A Chinook, a helicopter,
like
double rotors, and they took him. They took him back.
One took the giant, and one took them, and they never heard about anything again. Like they had to change the report and all this. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
So why?
So if you look up,
I believe they said he was redheaded. he had like
I believe it. Hey,
he had like two rows of teeth. Like they were looking at it before the helicopter came and got it.
My dad was telling me that
they lit him up, and that giant was done.
Whoa.
There's a lot of Afghans and Iraqis that are redhead. It's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. But so I had sent a text message to you months ago, probably like 9 or 10 months ago. I don't know if you remember this or not, but you can go on requested. Oh gosh, let's say you want to request a document from the government.
Yeah.
I was scrolling down through it because I saw on YouTube where someone had requested it, but I didn't believe it. So I went on the government website myself, where you can look up requested documentation, and someone had requested a document talking about the Kandahar giant those documents, man. I'm serious. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So why are these giants that are still around? Why aren't they being picked up by UAPs? Why don't they go back to their base?
I got
are they outcasts?
One name for you, Andrew Dawson, man. We've been talking about this for a couple days.
Sure.
He filmed one.
He filmed it.
Yeah.
He filmed it in what was that? What was that thing I sent you guys? Jasper National Park.
Right around
Canada.
where a lot of
Canada, right?
A lot of people go missing around these national parks.
Well, he filmed this thing. I mean, and you can see even off in the distance, if I were standing on a mountain, there's no way you'd be like, oh yeah, that's Johnny up there. I mean, he's 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
No, like this thing was tall.
This is the one on the hill.
On the snowy mountain.
On the snowy mountain.
And he kept going up the mountain, and this guy's like, what the heck is this? He posted it on his TikTok and TikTok.
You said it right.
Twitch hook.
He posted it. He posted it up, and he got like 55,000 views.
I saw it.
And he was not like a conspiracy guy or anything.
No.
He was just some regular talk
dude.
ticker.
And you know what? Like, they made him take it down, or something happened where he took it down. He filmed again like a week or two later.
Yeah.
In his house, and he said somebody's outside watching my house. It was in a black car. And he said they've been watching my house all day long. And at nighttime, he went to go. He's like, finally, I'm like, this is not verbatim, but he's like, I'm going to go outside and film them. And he went to go outside to film them in this black, it looked like an unmarked government vehicle. And as soon as he went out to go film them, they sped off, man. You know where that dude is now? Nobody knows. Well, one report says he's dead. His account got removed. And another report is like he's just missing. And I think he was a family man.
They're trying to scrub him from the internet.
I think he was a family man.
Whoa.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Same thing happened to that Hispanic family in Las
in Nevada?
Vegas.
Yeah, dude. What happened?
They went missing. Like
that was like 2 months ago. They're gone?
They're gone. Like you can't find them.
American Airlines lady. No one can find her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I say we just pick.
I think she's hiding because of. She's all over.
To me, I think we just create a list of 10 people
And find them.
that have gone disappeared off the face of the earth, that have seen something, and we just go after them one at a time until we find one.
I don't know if I have time for that.
You don't have time for it, but I think if we just motivate somebody to do the work for us and create the content.
Sharp, if you're listening.
Come on, Sharp.
We got to get him on the show, man. I mean, I know he's in Bahrain right now, but he's asleep.
So part of why I was asking questions about this this giant that was taken down, and I wasn't following the story because I was watching. I was reading this article, the Ohio State University Library, talking about the theory of hollow Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and the discoverer that you just mentioned, that
Andrew
Bird.
Dawson?
Bird
Oh, Admiral Byrd?
took, like, he did sketches
Yep.
of this. I can show you this. It looks like a belly button.
But this guy has no reason to lie
Look at
back
this.
then.
See that?
Yeah, it looks like sort of like an eyeball,
It looks
doesn't
like
it?
an eyeball.
But I mean,
That's
you
King
tell me,
Kong
like,
and Godzilla down there.
there's no reason this guy.
No.
I mean, what's he got going for him to lie? I mean, the guy's already famous. There's no need to lie about anything. He's a famous, adventure expedition guy.
So some of these, I don't know. I don't
That
know
was
all.
my.
I don't know all the.
That's what I learned in college, y'all.
So these hollow Earth globe features
Shut up,
This
honey.
is like-
You try to do a better job.
is mythology, saying that there's a central sun, and there's like.
The core.
Yeah, but the core is hollow inside, and like there's on the opposite side of the crust is more civilization.
I don't know if I believe in that because the Bible says that hell is in the center of the earth.
Well, that could be where hell is.
And in Siberia, they drilled. It's the deepest hole in the world.
Heard that.
The deepest hole in the world. It's like I don't know, it's probably as big as your fist. And if you can, pull this up because we can hear this. So they
it's creepy.
drilled a hole in Siberia, put on YouTube. They dropped a microphone down in this thing as far as they could possibly go. And what they heard, you guys, is freaky. It's like people down there screaming.
They call it the mouth to hell.
Yep, screaming in agony. If you can pull it up, yeah.
Or
if
the
you can
well to hell. That rhymed. That's a Dr. Seuss name right there.
pull that up. I want the listeners to hear this because it'll send shivers down
In
your spine.
Siberia?
I think it's Siberia. I could be wrong.
Siberia's doorway.
No. YouTube
to
it.
the underworld?
YouTube it. Deepest hole hell sounds or something like that. But it's one of the craziest things.
I'm asking Chet. He's
Who?
ChatGTP.
What is it saying?
I said, tell us about the well to hell in Siberia.
I mean, to me, it makes sense because, to me, it makes
It's
sense.
an urban legend that gained popularity in 1990s. According to the story, a group of Russian scientists drilled a hole so deep in Siberia that it supposedly reached the gates of hell. And so Chat GTP, we're going to call him Chet. If you want to be a host right now, Chet. Johnny V. It sounds like this is Chet talking. Oh, Johnny V. It sounds like someone was talking the whole drill baby drill mantra a little too far. This is Chet replying to your question. But let's dive deep into the depths of this tale. According to the legend, when the scientists lowered a microphone down the hole, they claimed to hear the screams of tormented souls and even smelled sulfuric stench of hellfire.
Right.
Yikes. Talk about a hot topic.
Can you find it, Jay?
So I'm trying to be careful about what I click here because there's some stuff on here that may not be exactly what we're looking for. Hold on. All right.
The stories
says-
spread like wildfire.
When did they drill this hole? Do you know?
1990s.
It says 1970.
Well, okay. Maybe they started in the 70s.
It's deep. It is very deep.
This may just be a video explaining.
Like miles.
7.5 miles. Sound about right?
Miles.
The Soviet Union drilled a hole more than 12 kilometers deep in Siberia, which shares borders with Norway and Finland. The project to drill into the Earth's surface began in the 1970s, when Soviet scientists wanted to
No,
learn more
I've got
about
it
the
right
Earth's
here.
crust.
Turn that off.
Over 2 decades.
This is it right here.
I was really engaged in that.
So this is it, y'all.
It
It's just
sounds
music. Just
sounds
wait.
like trance music.
The Soviet Union drilled
It's
a
the same video!
you idiot!
Okay, keep
Oh wait,
playing
hold
it.
on. All right, so
Fast forward
I've been letting it play, and I think
Okay,
it's
all
got
right.
a recording later. Let's
This
see
is
what
it.
says.
was about 1,100 degrees centigrade, about 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But the real shocker was the disturbing sound that was recorded. They only got about 17 seconds of audio before the microphone melted, but it was 17
Whoa.
What?
horrifying seconds of the screams of the damned. The screams of the hell.
Whoa. Well, that's all the time we have for Not a Good Podcast.
I was really kind of hoping it was going to be the "Never Gonna Give You Up"
Oh,
thing that
man.
popped up there.
Hey, I just want to say, look, right now, before we do go, because we do end abruptly, and hell is a real thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to let all of you know that Jesus is the only way, the truth, and the life. Nobody goes to the Father except through him. And so for all of us here at the Not a Good podcast, we want to take this opportunity to share the gospel with you that the Lord loves you. We're not trying to scare you or anyway. We like to have fun with this stuff, but spiritual warfare is real.
Mm-hmm.
God is real. There's only one God, and he sent his only son to die for our sins so we could have right fellowship with the Father for all of eternity. And so we love y'all. We love the Lord, and we hope that you guys have a great week. But if you need anything or have any questions, please email us at, what's the email?
nagpodcastlive@gmail.
nagpodcastlive@gmail. We love you guys. Have a great week. God bless.
This has been Not a Good Podcast with PB and Johnny V.
You've been listening to Not a Good Podcast. Tune in next time